Video 14, the pitcher fresh rules, and also the bonus rules for stamina. So when a pitcher first comes out, he's given what we call a fresh bonus, or he's fresh. For a starting pitcher, you can see down here that is the first inning. So during the first inning, the starting pitcher is considered fresh. For a relief pitcher, it's the first batter he actually faces, just one batter. And for a long relief pitcher, if you know it's a long reliever, then you can give them 3 batters as fresh. What does that do? It can change some base hits and sometimes some walks into outs. Now, this is the only time that can really happen, where the normal flow of the game from pitch to in play to a hit is basically stopped. It's during this time when, hey, the pitcher's just come out, he's got a little bit more with him, and we're going to give him a small opportunity to maybe overturn some of those results. And it can mean the difference between a pitcher having a terrible first inning and just having an okay one. Dennis Martinez is obviously our starting pitcher. Jose Meza is our relief pitcher. We might actually bring Scott Sanderson in as the long reliever, actually. So Dennis Martinez starts the game, as he did 24 times that year. The first innings is his in a state of freshness. Okay, so if he gives up, and we'll go over to the cards here. On the pitch, the freshness is basically, we know if we've got a result in green writing that if the person who's pitching is in the fresh state, then that result can't happen. So a walk of 6. Say we have Frank Thomas coming up against Martinez. Now he's probably going to walk with a walk of 6. But if Dennis Martinez is in the fresh state in the first innings, then that's not going to happen. Instead of walking, the best thing to happen in that case is to go over to the ball in play. If in fact the ball in play was also a green result, then that couldn't happen either when Martinez is in the fresh state. So instead of being a fielding check, it would just be a normal fly ball. So in that case, and that's a rare example, obviously, if you had 2 freshes at once, in that case, his first inning got him a fly ball instead of possibly walking or having to rely on his fielders to make the play. It's just a normal fly ball. If we're in the first inning again and he is in the fresh state, if he wasn't to hit the batter in this case, if he came over to here and it was a fielding check, well then you'd know straight away it'd be a fly ball. But you would have to check the hit by pitch first. If it's a hit by pitch, that stands. Now where the fresh comes into it majorly is on the batting versus pitching, or the singles ratings. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. Obviously here he's put into play, he hasn't hit the batter. If he comes down here and say it's Frank Thomas and Frank Thomas got a hit. So normally Frank Thomas would be standing on first. But before we do that, when a pitcher's in his fresh state, we need to look at the stamina section. Now we're not going to do that on the same card. I'm going to flip it over. And there's 3 boxes here. Now these 3 boxes, we'll get to know a little bit over the next couple of videos. They're going to have the different levels of fatigue and also fresh. So we want to try and find one fresh. Well, here's one over here on the last card we had. If I flip a card over under the fresh to try and reverse a singles rating, and it says fresh here, then there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to be able to overturn that. Now on this one it says all on-base results become fly balls. So that single to Frank Thomas that we just had is turned into a fly ball because Martinez was in his fresh state. I'll try and find some other cards that have some different things on them. So Frank Thomas has got the single, but under the fresh rules, we need to check the stamina. So we looked at the stamina rating and fresh came up. So we know there's a possibility that that single is going to be taken away by Martinez in his fresh state. But if we look down here, it says lefty-righty, same, fly ball. Frank Thomas is obviously a right-handed hitter, and Dennis Martinez is a right-handed pitcher. So basically, because they're the same, it's going to be a fly ball. If they're different, if you had a left-hander facing versus Martinez, he has the split advantage, and he would keep that single. But most of the fresh ratings are going to be just, if it's fresh, it's fly ball. If it's fresh, it's a ground ball. That single will be taken away. The fresh comes up on the card 1 in every 4 times. The other 3 times are all going to be to do with the different levels of fatigue. Again, for a starting pitcher, only in the first inning itself. For a relief pitcher like Jose Meza, only on the first batter. So if a single or something like that comes up on the first batter, they've got 1/4 pretty much, or 25% to be able to take it away. It's not quite 25%. There are some lefty-righties there, so the actual lefty-righty matchup may not suit the result, and the single would stand. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about on this video would be if a pitcher was throwing a shutout and he hit his stamina range. So we call this the bonus. It's basically a shutout bonus. So again, Jose Meza, not involved. He's got to 30 batters, and now he's on 31. Say he's in the 8th inning. 31 batters, but he's thrown a shutout. Because he's thrown so well and he hasn't given up a run, we're going to give him a stamina bonus. So he won't go into the fatigue straight away. Stamina, 5 batters after the original stamina lost. So he's going to maintain normal stamina till the 35th batter, or until he gives up a run in that time, and then on the 36th batter, he will then go into the fatigue state. It gives him a chance to go deeper into ball games or to even get shutouts. So the only thing is, you have to be throwing a shutout as a starting pitcher to get that 5 bonus stamina. So it's fairly straightforward. If you forget to do it, you forget to do it. And these rules, the fresh and the fatigue rules, are optional, of course, but just try to be consistent. Starting pitcher, first inning, relief pitcher, first batter, long relief pitcher, if you know they're in long relief and you want to get 3 or 4 innings out of them or so, they can have 3 batters at the start. It will take away probably about 20 to 25% of the single results and maybe some of the walk results and whatnot. If you don't like that rule, don't play that rule. I would probably play the fresh rules. If you're playing the fatigue rules, they sort of even out the cards a little bit. The stats will be closer to average if you do that, but totally up to you how you want to do it. If you're just playing a few games here and there, it's not really going to matter, is it? So we got the stamina rules, we got the fresh stamina rules, and we've got the shutout bonus rules. Any questions, let me know.